Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our Discover webinar, Ministry on the Move. Today, we're going to show you how CDM Plus Mobile puts important church tools for staff, leaders, and clergy right in your pocket and helps you stay connected wherever your ministry takes you. Our discussion today is going to be led by none other than Dean Phelps, our quality assurance consultant. And Dean has been with us for 7 years, but has used the CDM Plus program for over 20. Other members of our team with us today include Sherry Snedden, our support manager, Chris Widener, our marketing specialist, Jennifer Nelson, our support engineer technician, and myself, Julianne Manning, our product specialist. We want to make mention to highlight our next Discover webinar on August 18th, which will be Ask Me Anything with our CEO, Alex Clay. As the name suggests, this is going to be a different kind of webinar where you get the chance to ask Alex anything. So it could be questions about the product, what we're working on, and/or what is coming down the pipe. But we are excited to have this conversation with you, so you will not want to miss it. And you can sign up for the Ask Me Anything webinar, see recordings of previous Discover webinars, and sign up for any of the upcoming webinars, all at cdmplus.com/discover 2026. And Discover webinars are great. We love them, but nothing really beats the opportunity for the in-person training that happens at our annual users conference. And our annual users conference this year is September 22nd through 24th in beautiful Charleston, West Virginia. And not only do you get to talk with our team face to face, but it's also a really great time of connection where you get the chance to meet and hear from other users about how they utilize CDM Plus. Make sure to check it out because our early bird special ends at the end of this month, which means signing up now will save you $125 per registration. So if you're planning on sending a few members of your team, that savings can really add up. So definitely take advantage of these savings today. And what's really cool is that this year at our conference, we're going to be offering a core track. And this track was designed with new staff members in mind to help them get up to speed in a hurry. The core track cuts straight to what matters with a focus on the core CDM Plus programs you use daily and what their practical use is. So lots of good things going on at AUC. You will definitely not want to miss it. And another one thing that's happening this year is focus groups. These focus groups will be an intentional time to gather feedback in small group setting. And as we work to develop the next generation of CDM Plus, we really want to hear from you, our user. So definitely take advantage of this. We would love for you to be a participant of a focus group to kind of hear and gain impact and insight from you, the user of CDM Plus. And last but not least, we also want to mention just our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is a great resource offering several step-by-step videos, tips and tricks, and we highlight new updates and features that come out as well. So definitely make sure that you like and subscribe so you can take advantage of this resource. All right, without further ado, Dean, I am going to turn it over to you. So Dean?
All right, thank you, Julianne. And just a quick note about what is CDM Plus Mobile. Well, for starters, it's an app that runs on a phone or a tablet. It's an app that's designed to be used on a handheld device, again, so that your data can go with you as your ministry is on the move. I've been a local church pastor. I've been a judicatory minister, and I know that a lot of ministry doesn't happen from behind a desk. And it's the importance of being able to stay in touch, to stay connected, and being able to do that even when I'm out away from an office, out on visits or wherever ministry takes me, to be able to have my phone or tablet and have my data close at hand. The app is a free download, so you can download CDM Plus Mobile from Google Play or from the Apple App Store. And like I said, this allows that device, your phone, your iPad, your tablet, to access your CDM Plus database. And so we'll be connecting devices to your database through CDM Plus Mobile. And like I said, it's a way to have your data on hand with your ministry, to have your data. Your ministry is on the go, your data needs to be on the go as well. Now, who CDM Plus Mobile is for, this is not an app that you would necessarily have everybody in your congregation or organization using. It's really intended for ministry and administrative staff, folks who need access to the entirety of the database with some limitations, and we'll look at how we control that as well as some other ministry leaders. For example, you may have elders or deacons in your church who are responsible for making visits and pastoral calls. You'd want to give them access to CDM Plus Mobile so that they can record those contacts, and then ministry and other staff could have access, could see the record of those contacts as we continue to stay in touch and serve those folks. So I mentioned that we need to be able to set up devices in CDM Plus Mobile. So I want to stop a minute and show you, before we get into the app itself, just how we do that. And so in the administration page of your CDM Plus desktop program, on this mobile tab, the third tab down, this is where you, what we call provision devices. We actually establish the connection between the device and the database. And notice how I'm talking about this. We're actually connecting a device to a database, not necessarily a person, although it's good to know if you're going to let a device, a phone or a tablet, access your database, it's good to know who's going to be holding that device. But this is where we do that. We give the device a name. This Dean Dock iPhone is what I'll be using for the webinar today. The device gets assigned a 4-digit PIN, and we use that at login. And we need an email address. And this user access is what says, okay, this is Dean Phelps that's using this phone. And we want to know that because down here, I can say whether or not I can make changes to data using this device. So if I'm able to make changes, we want to record who made those changes. User access lets me do that. These are some of the various features, these tabs here. So we're going to look at the individual app. Well, what data is somebody allowed to access? I can look at individual data. I can look at attendance. If I had this box checked, I'd be able to look at a person's contribution history, visitation, and pastoral records. Can this device send email? Can this device send personal text messages? And then what groups can we look at? A similar thing on the attendance tab. This is where we would set up, well, what groups can we use this device to take attendance for? I'm not going to spend time on check-in, check-out today. I think I may be the least qualified person on the call to talk about check-in and check-out. But we will talk about reminders, and we'll look at the receipts feature in mobile as well. In reminders, well, what reminders do we want to see? Do we want this device to be able to get alerts or push notifications? And we'll look at that a little bit when we talk about visitation records. And can this device scan and submit receipts? So that's where we actually set up what the device can do. So let's go ahead and take a dive into the app itself. So I'm using my iPhone for this demonstration. So when you log into CDM Plus Mobile, this is the screen that you see. Notice that the name that we saw on that administration page is the name that's here. We can upload an icon. I'm just using the default silhouette. And then what I'm going to do to actually validate that this is who I am, I'm going to type in that 4-digit PIN that was assigned for this device. And then click Go. So now we're on the screen that shows me the various applications that are available to me inside of CDM Plus Mobile. So let's start by looking at people. So if I open individuals, then this is going to bring up the list of those groups that I have access to. Again, back at that administration screen, what can this device look at? What can this person see? So I'm going to look at the adult choir. And so now I've got this list of everybody who's in that group. It's just a group within CDM Plus Desktop. And I'm going to click on David Emerson. And so you see we've got a picture, we've got some information about David, and we have a picture. Maybe we didn't have a picture Well, I've got a device with a camera. I could click this camera icon and take a fresh picture of David or get a picture if I didn't have one available. Across the bottom are tabs that take me to various information about this individual. So if I click on Family, then that shows me the other people in the household, the other people connected to this same address record in CDM Plus. If I go to the Contact tab, well, now I can see the contacts that we have for David. I could click on this mobile phone number and call David. You know, I've got access to the directory right in my hand. I can make the call. I could click on the email address and it would open my email app on my phone and I could address and send an email to David. If we needed, because my device can make changes, if we needed to make a change to a number, say this mobile number was incorrect, I can click Edit, click on the mobile number, and oh, it should be 56, save, save, and one more time. And now that change has been made in the CDM Plus database. All of this is happening in the database real time. If I tap on this address icon, then I will get a map of where that address is located. Again, like I could on contact information, if I needed to update the address, I could. One thing that I've always thought is really handy is this red information icon. If I tap on this, then CDM Plus Mobile will open Google Maps with this address, and I'd be able to get driving directions to where I'm going. So where we talked in the poll about getting driving directions, this is how you would do that, is using this red information icon. Well, there are more things available to me than what will fit across these 5 little spots at the bottom of my screen. So I'm going to tap on More and see some of those other things. I can look at David's attendance history by clicking on Attendance. And here's where David has been. Click on More to go back. I can look at David's visitation records. I could say, okay, well, I just had a phone call with David. So I can record that just by adding a new visitation record. The senior minister, phone conversation, save the comment, and here's where I can add a reminder if there's a follow-up that I need to do, and I want to get a reminder about that. I can do that and save. I could also send that reminder to somebody else with the access level. Other things I could do pastoral records. If you come to the annual users conference, the class that we teach on contact management, we'll do a deep dive into visitation records and pastoral records. And finally, I can see the groups in CDM Plus that David is a member of. Again, because this device can make changes, I can also click Edit and say, David is also a Sunday school teacher, and he's not attending the couples fellowship anymore. Just by clicking on those lines and then save. And again, this is happening real time in your CDM Plus database. David's group memberships have been updated. So I'm going to go back to the adult choir list and point out down here in the lower right, again, this is an iOS device, so on an Android this looks a little differently. This would be on what I call the hamburger menu. I've got this share icon. So I've got the adult choir group in front of me. I can click that share icon and, well, what do you want to do? Here's where I could send an email to everybody in the group. I could send an email to selected members of the group. This is, I think, a wonderful feature of CDM Plus Mobile. I can send SMS text messages to people in the group. If I choose that, well, what type of phone number do I want to send these text messages to? I'm going to choose mobile. And these are the people that actually have mobile numbers, members of the group that have mobile numbers. And I would say, let's go ahead and send to all of them. Now I click this little compose icon, this little note icon in the center, and it takes me to where I can actually compose the message. This send individual SMS switch is kind of an important one. Because this is turned on, when I go to send this, it's actually going to use the messaging app on my phone. This would send individual messages, and I would have to tap send for each one of them. For 3 people, that's not a big deal. If I'm sending to a larger group, that could be tedious. So I can turn that off to send these as group text messages. So that's the way we can, another way we can use CDM Plus Mobile to stay in touch, to stay connected. So that's really what we want to look at on the Individuals tab. We can also use CDM Plus Mobile to take attendance. So if I go to the attendance group, now on that attendance, again on that mobile tab in administration, we defined what groups this phone that I'm using can take attendance for. So we're going to record the attendance for this past Sunday. Actually, we're going to do the men's Bible class. And so I can just, by clicking on the name, mark that this person's in attendance. If I go to the In Attendance tab here by tapping on that, oops, Mike wasn't there, that was a mistake. I tap on his name again, and it's back over here. If I were on a tablet, I'd be seeing these two things side by side. But I'm on a phone with limited screen real estate. But it was Bill instead. And again, these changes, this attendance is being recorded in your CDM Plus database real time. So that's a way to manually take attendance. If you have a device that has a camera, then you can also use a phone or an iPad or a tablet to use the camera to scan a barcode and take attendance that way. Somebody has a barcode printed on their name tag. If you've been to the annual users conference and come into a classroom and scanned your barcode, that's what's happening. CDM Plus Mobile is scanning that and recording your attendance. This little tic-tac-toe board will always take you back to this home screen, and we can take a look at the Reminders app. So I have some reminders today. I have Mike and Susan Disney here, and we have a pair of rings next to both of their names. That icon means it's Mike and Susan's wedding anniversary. Stephen Shank has a little piece of birthday cake next to his name. So here I am. I don't have to be in my office. I can be at a coffee shop. I can be at the breakfast table. I don't have to be tied to my computer, but I can see that it's Stephen's birthday. I can tap on his name, go to his contacts, send him a text message or an email that says, "Hey Stephen, thinking about you today, have a blessed and happy birthday." And now I've had that opportunity to stay in touch, to keep that connection alive and still enjoying my morning coffee. So again, that advantage of having your data be on the go with you. One last thing I want to look at here is the Receipts app. Usually if I'm incurring expenses, if I'm putting charges on the church or the office credit card, I'm not tied to my computer. And I remember the days of having crumpled up receipts that I'd stuffed in my pocket, and I would just kind of dump them on my administrative assistant's desk and say, "Here, I hope you can make sense of this." The Receipts app lets me move a step beyond that, because now I can say, okay, on this day, I was at Cafe Press and I was using my Chase Bank credit card, and this should be booked to the travel expenses account. I can put in what the expense was for, the amount, done. And because I'm using iPhone mirroring, I can't really demonstrate this, but what Add Scan would let me do is either use the camera on my phone to scan the receipt or choose a picture of the receipt that I had already taken from my photos and record that alongside of the expense, and then save. And now that payable for the credit card has been recorded in my CDM Plus database. So that's really all I wanted to touch on. I do hope this has stimulated some interest in the CDM Plus mobile app. Those of you that have been using it, I hope you've got some new ideas. I would encourage you to come to the annual users conference. We have a class there on CDM Plus mobile and a contact management class where, like I said, we'll be able to take a deep dive into some of these features.
Perfect. Well, thank you all for joining us here today. We're so glad that you were able to join us, and hopefully, as Dean said, you guys learned something a little bit new that you can do with CDM Plus Mobile. And thank you, Dean, for leading us in that discussion as well. If you do have any questions after today's discussion or want to learn more about how you can provision your devices for CDM Plus Mobile, or even just download the app, feel free to reach out to our 5-star support team at support@cdmplus.com. They'd be happy to kind of walk you through the process and get you all set up so you can start utilizing this feature. And we hope that we do see you at our next Discover webinar on August 18th or at the annual users conference this fall. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll look forward to connecting with you soon.